Of a surprise to learn that thousands of council staff in Britain are earning seriously big bucks. The Town Hall Rich List, published by the Taxpayers Alliance, has found that between 2011 and 2012, 2,525 council employees across the UK received more than £100,000 a year. 636 staff received more than £150,000 and 42 people received more than £250,000 a year. Well, joining me now is Robert Oxley from the Taxpayers Alliance and Sarah Hayward, who is the leader of Camden Council, which, according to Robert's report, is the council with the highest number of workers earning over £100,000 a year. Great to see you both on the programme tonight. Sarah, let's start with you. Are you a town hall tycoon earning over £100,000 a year?
I'm certainly not. I earn a lot less than that, and I just need to point out the factual inaccuracy in Robert's report. Only 16 staff in the year that he's talking about earned over £100,000 a year. We've cut senior pay by 20% and cut the number of staff earning over £100,000 a year. If my staff produced such an inaccurate piece of work, I would actually get performance management for them.
OK, you'll hear Robert defend that.
Ridiculous.
Is your report wrong?
Not at all. Our report takes numbers straight from the council accounts. If councils want to question the veracity of the report, they're questioning the veracity of their own report.
So how many people who work for Camden Council earn over £100,000 a year?
It's 40 staff in 2011-12 who took home remuneration packages of over 6 figures. That's straight from council accounts.
It's simply not true. The council accounts show that 16 members of staff did. It's note 34, published and independently audited. Your report is wrong. It's been wrong every year. We've asked for it to be corrected, and you failed to do it.
It's not been corrected because you know that legally you have a duty to provide legally correct accounts, and the fact is that your accounts, and this is why
so the fact that you continue to lie about it is absolutely unbelievable. If you want to have a debate about pay, you should do it on the basis of the real facts.
And
the real facts are that Camden's remuneration, note 34, people can look it up.
So you're denying there are 40 staff.
I'm absolutely denying it. There were 16. There were 16 in year 2011-12.
40 staff taking a remuneration of over £100,000.
No, there weren't.
That's what your council accounts. I can go and grab them and show you.
I can go and grab the council.
Hang on, let me jump in, because I think we're going to agree to disagree on this point. But the other point is, Sarah, it doesn't matter if you've only got one person earning that kind of money. How can you justify that when most of them are earning more than the Prime Minister?
Well, one of the people who earned over £100,000 in that year was our Director of Children's Services. They run 53 schools for 20,000 students. We have 300 looked after children. They run youth offending services.
And what's their salary?
Compared to a private sector analyst in a hedge fund who would earn £100,000 a year, they look after the interests of thousands and thousands of children. In that year, it was just under £150,000, if I remember correctly.
So that's still more than the Prime Minister, isn't it?
And your Director of Culture and Environment earns more than the head of MI5. And this is the problem, is that for too long, councils saw their council tax bills go up, but they didn't see their services improve. What happened was that we saw spending on middle management, we saw them spending on chief execs. And the point is we want to provide taxpayers the ability to scrutinise what council executives are being paid.
We were one of the first councils in the country to publish our senior pay.
And that was after consistent efforts of publishing
it was
the
one of the
Taxpayers
first things.
Alliance.
We retook control in 2010. It was one of the first things we did as an administration, because we have a policy of transparency. It was nothing to do with the Taxpayers Alliance. We are quite happy to scrutinise it.
But as Sarah said, Robert, these people have got big jobs. They've got lots of responsibility, looking after an awful lot of people. They deserve to be paid market prices, the market price that you would see in the private sector, don't they?
It's a self-fulfilling prophecy that councils are arguing that they need to take six-figure figures.
How much would you pay them?
I think that
head of Children's Services, how much would you pay them?
The head of Children's Services should be defined by what residents in Camden think.
How much would you pay them?
Well, I would not think that, say...
You don't have a number, do you?
This is the point. I'm not a Camden resident, but Camden residents should know what their chief executive gets paid, what their head of children's services, so they can scrutinise the job that Camden are doing and saying, do you deserve 150 figures?
And we were one of the first councils in the country to publish all of the chief officer pay, so our residents can scrutinise it and can challenge us on it.
You've had your chance. I want to say that's something that councils have to do, because originally we published our rich list via FOI. We had to FOI every council. Now they have to do it as a matter of course, and their accounts have to be correct, which
do you think residents in Camden are getting value for money when we see nationwide wages going down and council tax bills are still very expensive? Do you understand why people are unhappy with some of these salaries?
Well, we've cut senior pay and the number of senior managers by 20% in Camden as part of our cuts programme. You can't go in and change people's contracts automatically. Everyone who's recruited as a new chief officer now earns less. We recruited a new chief executive starting in early 2012, earning £40,000 a year less than the previous chief executive.
Very briefly, Robert, how much did you pay Sarah, out of interest?
Well, I think if she's going to get her accounts wrong and get the actual salaries wrong, which are legally correct, clearly there's something going wrong there.
Right.
The fact is that...
I'm afraid I just have to rebut that before we go off air, because he's wrong and he's lying about our accounts now, and I have a page over there.
We'll agree to disagree on that one point. Thank you both for joining me this evening. Well, coming up on 5...